God.
One day. God, are you listening? How is he not on the list? I would like to invite God. A God.
Move past
Okay,
it.
we're moving on.
Rated E for everything. You're here with Rated E for everything.
The podcast where we talk a little bit about a lot.
My name is Carl.
My name's Chanel.
And today we're going to be discussing our fantasy dinner party.
Yes, we are. I know we hinted at this at a past
the conspiracy
episode.
theory episode.
Yeah.
And I definitely, when Chanel was like, we should do that, my brain immediately started rolling about, I've literally been thinking about this since we recorded that one.
I haven't. I was on the spot. I was like, man, I got to pick some people now.
I know, and that's why I was pretty excited to record this episode, because I think it's going to be some good conversation about why we want these people there and what we're attracted to, like, not physically attracted.
Or physically. I don't know.
I mean,
Who knows?
too,
Whatever you're into.
more of, like, why you love these people and why you would want to have them at a dinner party, you know what I mean?
Just pick their brains, whether you love them. I don't know about love some of them, but I want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah,
I want to get in there.
All right.
Explain how this dinner party is going to work.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have 12 people at this dinner party in total. I broke it down into several different categories. The categories are 2 actors, 2 music artists, 2 historical figures,
That'll be fun.
2 fictional characters,
Also fun. All of it fun.
2 athletes. Also think it's funny that, for the record, I have written down in my notes, because at the time when I was making this list, I couldn't think of the word athlete, and I wrote down sports people.
Yeah, sports people. You know, those good old
Because,
sports people.
And then I thought of athlete after, and I was like, I'm going to leave it because that's funny.
You know, sports guys.
And then 2 extra. So whatever you want. It doesn't matter who it is. Could be like your mom, or it could be.
I should have invited my mom. She's not on my list right now.
That's
I
fine.
love you, Mom. I don't even know if she listens, but I love you.
But before we do that, we're going to play a Cammy game.
Cammy game. If you don't know by now, go back and listen to our other episodes.
Because we're sick of explaining it.
We want
JK,
you to know.
JK.
But really, go listen to our other episodes.
JK kidding, JK kidding.
JK LOL.
And today we're going to make it a little harder on ourselves.
Oh, yeah. As
by
if it wasn't hard enough already.
By restricting it to only people. Are we talking like historical people, or just
anyone
within the confines of our limitations?
Literally anyone.
Bet. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Genghis
Michael
Khan.
Jackson. Oh my God. How do you connect those?
That is so much fun.
Michael Jackson and Genghis Khan.
So think of a music artist who was selfish.
And maybe Asian.
Well, that you really just made it hard for me.
Not selfish, but I think we're just gonna go.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Yo-Yo
Jackie
Ma.
Chan. Okay.
Isn't he Asian? Tell me
Yeah.
why he was the first one I thought of, and nobody else.
Yo-Yo Ma and Jackie Chan. 3, 2, 1.
Bruce Lee.
Yes!
First try.
We got one. First try? What do you mean first try?
No
It's
idea.
the third try.
Well, that's the first time that you and I have ever gotten one.
Hell yeah. That felt good. It had nothing to
Yo
do
baby,
with
yo
Yo-Yo
baby, yo
Ma.
baby. I know.
But Bruce Lee.
Well, I mean, we just sort of. It didn't have anything to do with Michael Jackson either. He just sort of got overlooked.
We just went to Asians.
Yeah, we just went to. So to get into a little DP, little dinner party,
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I was totally thinking too. Absolutely.
we are going to go with 2 actors who you want to have DP'd.
Stop that. You stop that right now, sir.
Dinner partied.
Are we going to go 1 and 1?
Yeah, that's actually a better idea than what I had in mind.
My first actor is Emma Watson.
Why?
Because she's a super talented actor. I'm not sure what they go by these days. She's super involved in trying to make the world a better place. She's very intelligent, and also have the biggest crush on her because she is absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to pick her brain. I want to hang out. I just want to maybe like hug her once. Very platonic.
Nice. Nice.
In addition to my giant crush on her, I just think she's a really phenomenal person in general.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Fair.
my first pick.
My first pick, you probably definitely knew this one already.
Oh,
Robert
gotcha.
Downey Jr.
Duh.
And I don't want to be like that guy. And I've never been one to have role models. But if I could pick a role model, it would definitely be him.
I think you have role models.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe I don't think about it, but like someone like who I look up to.
Yeah.
Like besides like my parents and family, I think it's
I would have pegged him first. Well.
Okay.
Never mind.
I think that his life is crazy and interesting, and how he went from being a very successful actor to being a drug addict and basically his whole life falling apart, and then
Recovery.
being in prison, and then getting back on the horse and doing Marvel and becoming like a sensation known around the world from that, which I think is awesome. And I love Iron Man. He's my hero. He's been my hero since I was 8 years old. You know what I mean? And also just to talk to him about how his life changed and how he got it together and how Marvel gave him a second chance pretty much at life. He got a do-over, and not many people get that. And I think that that's really admirable of him to change his life around totally. Especially, he wasn't young either. Like when he started Marvel, he was like 40 something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. He does a lot of cool things, and he's a really good guy, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I admire him a lot.
I think
for sure, and I think that's why I would want him there.
Yeah, the fact that he was offered a second chance and actually took it as well as he could and just made it all positive. Like, there is a lot of people that may have either squandered that chance or taken it and fallen back. And recovery is not an easy thing.
No.
And he just totally mastered his life, and he got
really
back
did.
on. And he is, like you said, he went from, a convict to your role model. That's incredible.
And not just to my role model, but to somebody known around the world. I mean, he's Iron Man to everybody, and he has been for the past like 11 years, which is mind-blowing because he started the Marvel universe. Another big reason, again, like why I love him so much and why I definitely would have him.
And every actor that you hear from Marvel just talks about how he just takes them under his wing, how he's just such a good guy and a mentor, and I think that's a really good pick.
I want him to teach me his signature dance.
Yeah. Also,
he does that dance in every video. In every video there is of him dancing, it's always that same one.
We didn't even mention how incredible of an actor he is.
Oh, yeah. He's really good.
That in addition to just an amazing human.
Yeah. All right. Your number 2?
Slightly similar. A guy that's had quite a lot of problems, especially recently, that have come to light. Johnny Depp.
I love him.
We'll start with the acting. I mean, everyone knows who Johnny Depp is. Yeah. Whether he's being a pirate in a horror film, or he's Willy Wonka,
or he's Edward Scissorhands, or Sweeney Todd, or
Sweeney Todd, or just or in animated movies or claymation movies, and just the amount of range and the transformation. He's a chameleon.
Yeah, he really is.
He can change into anything. So that alone, that talent is. I don't know many bad Johnny Depp movies.
I'd say that that's pretty accurate.
I don't.
The most recent Parts of the Caribbean wasn't anything to write home about, but I don't blame him for that. I think he played the role.
But I think he wasn't in a lot of the newer ones. I think in the last 2, he wasn't in them, or very little.
He was in them, but it didn't focus on him as much. And I think that when his point in the role of the movies, he was still true to his character of Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I think that was kind of writing issue. But, I mean, his performances, I can't name a bad one off the top of my head.
I agree.
So that aside, I don't know if you know recently what's been going on.
With him and Amber Heard.
Yeah, he's a guy who is enduring terrible, terrible things. And I don't know that I would talk to him about that, but just to let him know, like, the respect I have for him.
Want to buy his cologne?
Yeah, that too. And not to mention, he's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, he's got to have some amazing mind. I just want to pick his brain. And if he can be, like, really close friends with Tim Burton, I'm sure that he is one of the most interesting people on the planet.
Yeah, for real. Maybe we could let everybody know what's been going on with him, because I know now that the accusations are against Amber Heard that she used to physically abuse him, but before Correct. It was the opposite, right? People were saying that he used to abuse her or something.
She was making it seem that way. As far as I know, I don't know that anything is completely proven, but I think we have enough to know. Not that it's any of our business.
Exactly.
But she was making it to seem like he was physically and mentally abusing her, while the whole time she was actually the person abusing him. Physically, mentally. Mm-hmm. I mean, she almost cut off his whole finger.
Really?
Yeah, and I haven't watched it because I don't think I can bring myself to watch it, but there's video proof of her physically assaulting him.
Wow. That's awful.
And she was giving herself injuries to blame him, try and ruin his career, try and put him in jail. And
I feel like he didn't come, when all the accusations were initially against him in the beginning, he didn't come forward and, say like, no, it was actually her the whole time. You know what I mean? Like it's been 4 years or something since those, or maybe not 4 years,
Yeah,
but it's
no,
been a
some-
decent amount of time.
The first Fantastic Beasts, there was a lot of
he's in
people
that too.
who had a terrible problem with J.K. Rowling casting him as Grindelwald because they were like, how could you? You know, he's a domestic abuser. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you? You're letting this person act in these movies. And he didn't say a word. He publicly didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And the whole time she was like, no, I want him in my films. And I think that he was telling the people that mattered.
Exactly, because he doesn't seem like somebody who would purposefully throw somebody under the bus.
Right.
Like, I feel like he's someone who would just, like, take it and be like, yeah, I mean, if you think that about me, all right. But at the same time, like, I know people who like me and care about my movies and my acting, and my close friends and family who know who I am. They know that's not true, and no matter what she says, it doesn't matter. And then I feel like this eventually came to light just, like, a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wasn't his doing of
Probably
that either.
not.
Probably not. Honestly, if this wouldn't have come to light, he probably would never have mentioned it, like
Which
that she
is
was
so sad.
Exactly. But I mean, also it shows like what an admirable person he is. This is how it is in my mind. He's like, I know you wanted to ruin me, but I don't want to ruin you. Like,
Yeah,
even
that's
though,
what it seems like. Like, even through all that pain
Yeah.
and his career spiraling for a while, he was kind of like, you know, I loved you at one point, so I'm not trying to
Exactly.
turn this right back at you, even though I very much should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be
King of being the bigger person.
Yeah, honestly, I think that would be an amazing person to talk to. Not that I would want him to have to talk about any of that.
Exactly, but just in general.
Yeah, just in general as a person, I think he would be a great conversationalist.
Yeah.
Also kind of weird, but
but
I like it.
But yeah, exactly.
I'm into it.
For my second one, definitely would have to pick Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah.
Also for his roles as Wolverine. I mean, he played that role for 17 years, and it was amazing. Another actor who really got me into Marvel and comics and stuff like that. He means a lot to me, and when I watched Logan, that was hard,
Heartbreaking.
to say the least.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
But it's good, and he's been through a lot too. I mean, he's had cancer twice, I think.
I actually didn't know that.
Really?
I had no idea.
Until just now or until recently?
No, like right now.
Oh, yeah, and beat it like both times.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, and also he's an amazing dancer, and not just in Wolverine, but he's an amazing Broadway performer and singer and dancer and all around just like a really well-rounded actor overall, and also person, because he constantly gives back, and I'm pretty sure he's like doing a lot of things for the Australian stuff because he's Australian, and he just seems like someone who cares a lot about everything, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, he's more than a triple threat. He's got more than that going on. He's a little bit of everything, or a lot of bit of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually.
I think he's just awesome. I don't know.
And also, can we just talk about how nice it would be just to listen to him talk?
Yeah. Or I'd be like, hey, I know you're at our dinner party, but could you sing me something? Like, I would love it if you could serenade me your solo from Les Mis, if that's not too much trouble for you.
But also, like, just his accent. Like, just talk. Just,
Yeah.
you know what? You just talk.
Do you want to give a speech, Hugh? He's like, huh?
About what? Like, anything. Just,
whatever.
Just talk.
Just start. You can just say words.
All right. So I guess we're moving on to music artists. Why don't you go first on this one?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Phil, baby. A little bit of
Of course,
Phil.
I should have known that.
Yeah, you
Phil
really should've.
Collins.
Phil Collins all day.
How did I not see that coming?
I would just love to like sit through each of his albums and be like, I love this and this about all this, and you're so great. And I know you're getting old, but could you play the drums for me? Just kidding. Can you sing Part of In the Air tonight? I'm just kidding. Let's just have a conversation. Can I get you anything? Can I make you some tea? I love you. Okay, you can go. I'm sorry, I'm freaking you out probably.
Like, there's something about celebrities. Like, I know they are just people.
I know.
But I'm so stoked. I'm like, wow, you're so successful. Like, I just want to know what's in your brain. Also, thank you for saving my life with your art. You know. Like,
Yeah.
Just all of it.
He's awesome. I'm so glad that I love his music so much. Seeing him in concert was, again, like a dream come true for me, especially since it's one of those things where it's like he's not an artist from today.
Right.
So to see him still touring, even though, and he's been through a lot too, like he like fell in the showers or like fell in his bathroom like a couple of years ago, and then still went on tour like after that. All the things that he's sort of been through, and he's just pushed right through it. I mean, I know he's done now touring, I'm pretty sure, but still, like, he went on that last tour, and
you saw it.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yes, it was great. I don't want to be like one of those people who's like, yeah, I'm only 18 and I love your music, but I feel like that would be something
I think you'd be pretty happy about that.
You know, it'd be like, look how well-rounded I am. Aren't I cool? Fuck. Yeah, you know, I love your music, and I'm only 18. I wasn't even alive when your maid started
So
making
obviously
your music.
I'm the cool one.
Yeah, exactly. You know, have some respect for me because I'm better than everybody else in my generation. Hey, can we get Genesis back together? Just for like one song?
Get the band back together.
Just can you and Peter Gabriel come and feature on one song?
I wonder if people would be open to that, like at the dinner party at all, or they'd be like, "Why am I here? Like, leave me alone."
I know. That was sort of my one big thing with doing this is in my mind I'm thinking of all these people I'm gonna have in like a room together, talking and like mingling, and I'm like, man, what if they just hate me? Or what if they hate each other?
What if they don't want to be
Or what
here?
if this is like the worst experience ever?
What if, all right, we're gonna go ahead and say that they willingly came, and this is a fantasy land, and everyone gets along, and even though they don't like each other, they can just have conversations.
Yeah, that's I said this to you before. Even if they get into arguments, it's the good kind of argument. It's a debate. It's the intellectual kind of argument where they're like,
intellectual.
I don't agree with you, but I would love to argue with you about it. You know. So, your artist.
My first artist is Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots. Which, by the way, Carl's wearing a 21 Pilot shirt right now. Pretty cool. And a hoodie. Did you plan that? Did you plan that?
Can I just be fair with you in that every time I wear the shirt, I wear the hoodie? Or vice versa? I'm like, I'm going to wear the hoodie. That means I have to wear the shirt.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Seems a little like OCD, but also kind of amazing.
I'm fine.
I'm okay. Tyler Joseph. Wow. What a person.
Yeah, where do you even start with him?
What a person. His mind, I think... Even if I talked to him for years, I don't think I would touch any depth of his mind because there's just so much.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
Another haunted artist.
Yeah. Tyler Joseph, if you don't listen to 21 Pilots, he tends to sing about, metaphorically, depression and anxiety and, you know, crippling self-doubt that he lived through as a person and he wants other people to live through. And he raps and sings about things that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's just phenomenal as an artist, and he writes all his own music. He also, in his newest album, I guess in a couple, like through the past too, he's created this narrative.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah, and he's created characters and a story, and there's this whole arc, and no one knows the full depth of it. Like, he keeps releasing things that touch on it, and like parts of the story, and like characters, but no one knows how far this whole thing goes.
It's crazy.
His mind is just infinite, I believe.
I agree with you on that.
He's also written some music that really gets to me. It really hits where I need it to.
Yeah.
And I think that's his purpose. He struggles himself, and he just wants other people to know that they are not alone and things are worth living for. And I think that's a great person to talk to, associate with, and want to learn to be that way as well.
I agree. Yeah. I think he would be really cool to have there.
And he's funny as hell.
Yeah, he really is.
He's so funny.
Isn't he expecting a kid?
He is, yeah. A little baby girl. I'm excited. But I'm also a little nervous that he's going to stop making music.
I need them to make one more album.
At least one, Ty.
Yeah. If you're listening.
He's not. But
I know. My second artist, Old Blue Eyes, as you called him in the music episode. Frank Sinatra. The first deceased person I think we have on the list.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because what an innovator. Holy shit.
Yes, absolutely.
Just amazing. Just that whole time period of the United States to me is so awesome and cool. And I would love to be like, bro, you had it going on. I honestly can't even put it into words. He's so cool. Like, he's just the ultimate, to me, like, musical badass.
If you could ask him one question, what would you want to ask him?
Is there any way that you would sing Fly Me to the Moon with me? Like, could you sing with me?
Can we sing karaoke together?
Can we
Thanks.
sing Fly Me to the Moon together? Any way we can make that happen. No, but I guess it would be, like, where did he get his inspiration from, you know? Because I know that it's so unique. A lot of other people from that time period sounded similar to him.
Dean Martin.
Yeah, and the Rat Pack in general, and Bing Crosby, and you know what I mean. Like, he had an unmistakable voice.
If there's a Sinatra song on, you know it's
him.
Yeah.
It's awesome. He's He's so cool. Like, again, like one of those people that wore like suits and a fedora and just looked like a badass the whole time, and he just put people in a good mood to be around him. And I feel like honestly, he would be one of the people who would be the life of this party, because he would be like, yeah, woo, like this is awesome. You know
Life
what I
is
mean?
great.
Like, exactly.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like he just is also kind of wise in that he was around for so long.
Yeah,
you know what
truly,
I mean?
Truly.
And was able to see music, because he died in like the early 2000s, right?
I couldn't tell you a year though.
I don't remember, but I know he was around for a long time, so we saw like his music and then slowly how music changed. He must have dealt with that and still being super popular throughout all that time, and people still like loving him.
He never like dipped in fame.
No.
I want to be like that. I want to make people happy. I want people to come to us for a smile. I want to be that influential.
I won't lie. I think I'm just kidding. I think I'm already there.
I am already
there.
I'm the best forever.
Yeah, you know me.
Of course, Carl.
Not humble at all.
I should have put you on my list just so you can hang out with my people too. My second artist is my role model for my whole life. Although I know that recently she has said in music that she doesn't want anyone to look up to her that way, but I definitely have. And I continue to, and that is Hayley Williams from Paramore.
Expected.
Yeah, you had to know that was
exactly.
coming.
I'm surprised that wasn't the first one that you wrote down.
They're both pretty prevalent right now in my life.
Exactly.
Hayley Williams has been a huge figure in my life since I was in 7th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade.
Yeah.
And not that I ever expected anything for her to be a superhero, but it was just the fact that she was there my whole life. Like, Paramore was present my whole life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And every time that they released an album, it was something that I could connect to, and her writing just always meant something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I went as far as to, I wanted my style to be like hers. I wanted my hair to be like hers. I still have that hair. Like, her, just the way she sings, the way she performs, the amount of energy she has as a person, and even when she's in the most shit situations, she comes out as someone that, I'm going to get through this even though life is insane right now.
Yeah.
Especially currently, she just came out last week with her new EP.
Okay.
It's called Petals for Armor.
Gotcha.
And it's just about how messed up her life right now is and how she's trying to repair it. And I was there. This album doesn't exactly line up because I think I'm in a good place in life right now. So I don't feel her like anger and pain. But I still, like, at this point in my life, I feel like, wow, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm proud of you now.
Yeah.
And she's just always someone that I'm going to look up to. So no matter what, she was going to be on the list.
That's awesome. So let's get into historical figures. And you want to take that away?
Yeah. I'm going to start with Harriet Tubman.
Interesting choice. Why?
Bravery.
Fair.
Absolute, indefinite bravery.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to her, tell her how much that bravery meant now and is continuing to push forward. I want to pick her brain.
Yeah.
That's why I put her on my list. I want to pick her brain. What made you so brave? What were you thinking? How did you get the things done that you did? How did you set up the things that you did? And I think it's mind-blowing when I think about that, when I hear about that in history classes and such. It's just one person organized the freedom of hundreds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The brain that must be on that woman.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's a good choice. That's pretty cool.
How about you? Who's your guy?
Little Joey S. Little Joseph Stalin. You know.
Well, we knew that was on there.
Again, to pick his brain a lot, but also to be like, man, you really you went and did it, didn't you? You
like, what did you do? Why?
Like, yeah, you killed a bunch of your people. All right, dope. Why though? Also, like, this is gonna be super unpopular. Kind of a badass in the way that anybody who opposed him, he was just like, nah, and then they died.
Dead.
He just like looked at him and then they were dead.
Gave a certain nod and goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he was a pretty like relatively bad person, but also it's cool. Like, he basically won World War II a lot. Like we talked about that in the conspiracy theory episode, how the Russians were very much so the unsung heroes of the
Absolutely.
World War II, how they took Berlin back, which I think is awesome. And to, like, talk to him about his military strategy going into that, how Hitler sort of screwed him over when they signed the peace treaty, how he was able to work with the United States and that they were so fundamentally different in their societies and in the differences between communism and democracy, and to get into that and discuss like how he was able to overcome their differences to come together to defeat the Nazis and the fascists.
That's a good one. I feel like if he was at your dinner party, you wouldn't get to anyone else because you'd be so in depth in that conversation.
Yeah, or he wouldn't give me a whole lot of information because he'd be like, if I tell you, I'll kill you. And I'll be like, that's fine. That's okay.
All right. Head nod and I'm out. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and follow up your pick with, I'm sure you can guess who, the next evil badass person.
Osama bin Laden. I'm just kidding.
Not quite. Nope. That's going to be good old Adolf Hitler.
Oh, Aid.
Yep. My pick is Hitler. And
also fair, probably for the same reasons that I picked Stalin.
Exactly. I won't get too far into it. I've talked about it before. I think the man was a genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
smart.
Influential genius, maybe with the biggest pull in the world. Also an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't dive too far. I think everyone knows how, even though he was awful, how insanely effective and brilliant.
Yeah, imagine if he had used his powers for good, because in reality, like, he did some real bad stuff, but he also brought Germany back from the brink of, like, total economic and social destruction.
Yeah,
like,
for all the wrong reasons, but he did it.
Like, their $1, and if we're going to put it in, like, U.S. terms, $1 was worth, like, $100. Or, no, actually, it's the opposite. It wasn't worth anything. So that's why everything was so expensive.
Yeah.
And he sort of brought them back via the Nazi Party, which is obviously problematic, but still he got something that they could rally behind and really brought them back from the total destruction and all the money that they owed after World War I. He's definitely a good choice.
Yeah, and to pick his brain for hours.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Be incredible. Also, I want to see some of your art. Paint me a picture at my party, bro.
Fair enough.
All right. How about you?
So you said Harriet Tubman for bravery. I'm saying Al Capone for badassery. Talk about a bad motherfucker.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Oh
yeah.
my God. And imagine him and Frank Sinatra in the same room together. Like,
imagine like the portrait
so cool.
of all these people, like in one photo.
That would be awesome. That would be really awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that he is so cool, and to learn the ins and outs of the Chicago crime and mafia would be so awesome, especially around that time, which is so interesting to me because the mafia has always been interesting, and he's like one of the most influential and interesting mobsters that ever existed. And for him to have gotten caught on like tax evasion or something and not like
So
murdering
twisted.
a shit ton of people is sick. Like that's
what he went down for.
Yeah, exactly. To be like, yeah, I know I killed a whole bunch of people, but you know, I went down for tax evasion,
I
so
didn't pay,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, you know?
That's a really good pick. He didn't even cross my mind.
See, I was trying to think of like really cool outlaws, and for some reason, this was sort of like another pick for me was, you know, Jesse James from like cowboy history.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him because I always admired him, and I thought he was sick because I think cowboys are cool, and I thought that was like, wow, he was a badass outlaw. Like he really did it to him. He really screwed the government and everybody else, and he had a whole thing going. But then I was like, who's cooler than Jesse James? Who's cooler than a cowboy?
Capone.
A mob boss.
Capone.
What? That was sort of my reasoning behind it.
That's a really good pick.
All right. And now to go into fictional characters.
I think you're first on this one.
All right. I'm going to go with Ezio Auditore de Firenze.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in and say that is probably Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Okay.
And I know that's a little problematic because you would probably wind up killing my two historical figures.
Yeah. Yep.
But the Assassin's Creed games, 2, Brotherhood, and then Revelations were so cool. And his character transformation was so interesting to me to see. Basically, his whole family gets murdered.
Dang.
And he's sort of thrust into this world that he knows nothing about at like age 18 or something. And he becomes arguably the biggest badass of the Assassin's Creed franchise. Like, once again, he was just so sick, and he did a lot of really cool things. He built the Brotherhood of Assassins back up from nothing from like them basically being in ruins to what like a powerhouse more or less, you know?
So the other Hitler.
Yeah, but in a good
For
way.
better reasons.
Yeah, to kill the Hitlers of the world. Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
And his storyline is just so interesting and he's so compelling. And again, he's just so cool. Like he does a lot of really cool things that's like, man, dude.
Is that the one you like cosplayed as?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He
Very
was,
cool.
and I admire him a lot just again for his badassery, but also for who he is as a person. Like at his heart, he does a lot of good things and he does his best to try to pick the right decision. Like if he can't, I know he's an assassin, but if
He's
there's
like the Batman of the ancient world.
yeah, except that he kills people.
Well, there's some versions.
Yeah, but he's awesome to me, and that's another one of those people who has sort of influenced me, not in like the way that I want to go out and just start murdering people, but more of in the way that like I want to live my life as sort of
For good.
yeah, exactly, someone who could do things for the better and just change the world, I guess. Well, maybe I don't want to change the world, but you know what I mean.
I want to change the world.
I already said that I'm content sitting in an office behind a desk doing numbers.
Yeah.
So
You can't really change much. Well, I don't know. Maybe. You never know.
So you're a fictional character?
I think you can guess this one. I am all about psychology.
Oh.
Who is the fictional character that I would want to dive into their twisted, horrible mind?
The Joker.
The Joker. That's right, Carl. The Joker. The Prince of Chaos.
I mean, what more can you say, really? You can't.
yeah.
How much can you say about him? Just
everyone
talk to
knows
him
who
for
the Joker
hours.
is.
Yeah.
But if I was in a place where he wouldn't kill me or kill the people
Around
that
you.
were at my party, and I could just talk to him and just, no one's gonna understand his mind because I don't think he understands his mind.
I mean, but you've got some other people who are not understandable either. So imagine the Joker, Hitler, and Tyler Joseph all having a conversation with one another.
Yeah, I don't even think they would talk about real things. Like it would
No.
just be like this off the wall conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would absolutely love to just hear what the Joker has to say.
Yeah. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I can imagine that would be interesting.
Horrifying.
But
though.
also pretty awesome.
Scary and awesome.
Yeah. For my next pick, you'll probably know who it is, but Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
And just on the basis that he lost everything just throughout his whole life, from Qui-Gon to other people, and then to finally his brother pretty much, and then to just lose everything but still like continue on in his life and not let that like bring him down, and also while being like a total, like he's smart and he's competent and intelligent and he's also awesome, like he knows what he's doing, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
and he knows the ins and outs of like the democracy, and he's just a really smart and intelligent guy
All around.
and I feel like having a conversation with him would be fascinating, and also just to be like, wow, dude, you have been through so much, you know what I mean? And I know that's stupid to think about a fictional character like that,
But no,
but it's accurate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Qui-Gon, and then some like other things in between there, and then Anakin, and then like stuff with Luke, and seeing just how he's been there through everything, you know what I mean? And to talk to him about how did you get over having to kill your best friend? How did you get over watching your entire people be slaughtered?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm learning something about you today, Carl.
Why?
You really have a thing for the redemption story.
What do you mean? Like,
most of the people on your list had something horrible or terrible going on in their life and came back from it.
yeah, that's accurate.
And I'm learning things. I think that's really a little peek into your brain there.
Well, okay. Well, let's not dive too deep into that now, shall we? Alrighty.
Well, sorry.
Your next
Put you on the
one.
spot there. You kind of already said this one, sort of, in a way. But my next fictional character would be Tony Stark.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, and I was gonna pick him, and then I was like, why would I have Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. at the same party? I mean, I know they're the different people, but also, he plays Iron Man, so it's like the same. I don't know.
The reason I picked Tony Stark over RDJ, no offense to him,
Wait, movie Tony Stark or comic Tony Stark?
either.
Okay.
I think I would choose movie, but so I could like kill two birds with one stone, meet them both.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The reason I picked him is because he would have so many ideas to move the world forward technologically.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And if I could just jot down some notes and some formulas from him and learn how to save the world and solve the energy crisis and,
Fix everything.
fix everything and also make my house really cool, that would be a giant plus.
Yeah, for real.
That's why I would pick Tony Stark. Also, all the personality factors, but mostly because I would like to make the world a little bit better.
Yeah. All right. And now we're going to move on to 2 athletes. And you're up for the first one.
You asked me about athletes, and my first thought was, who is the most well-known athlete where if I said this name to anyone, they would know who it was?
Can I guess? I have 2 in mind.
Yeah, you can.
Michael Jordan.
That's it.
Okay. The other one was Babe Ruth. I don't know why.
That's a good one, but no, I picked Michael Jordan because every single person that knows anything about sports, American or not, knows who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
If you see people around the world, they're wearing Bulls hats because
Or
they like
Jordan shoes.
Jordan shoes, not because they like basketball or they like Chicago or they like the Bulls team. It's because they know who Michael Jordan is. And his fashion line. And he's such a businessman. My goodness.
He really is, isn't he? That's so cool.
He's such a businessman. And also he's magnificently talented. So that's that's my number one. I just think if you think athlete, if you think world-renowned athlete, that's the first one that I could ever think of.
Yeah. For me, my first one would be Patrick Sharp from the Blackhawks.
Cool.
Just because I've always liked him so much that I did like a report on his life and stuff like that. Just because I thought he was like a good hockey player. Like he wasn't necessarily the best hockey player on the Blackhawks when he played for them, but he was sort of not necessarily an unsung hero, but someone who was always there in the background, like
making things
there
happen
for the team. He was, even if he wasn't getting like all the goals or anything like that, he was the assistant captain for the longest time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He knew what he was doing, and now he's like a reporter, I think, on NBC or something like that.
Is he really?
Yeah, he does like hockey,
of course,
like hockey games, of course. But I think he retired. I don't know, but he's definitely, and I think he still does things with the Blackhawks and stuff like that. And I think he's also like really good person all around too.
I mean, don't know anything about him.
Yeah, I from what I remember, I know like hockey players are just like generally they seem to be like good people.
Yeah, if you play hockey, you're a good person.
Yeah, we're just gonna say that.
Yeah.
All right, your next one.
My next one is a little bit controversial. I think the heat has died down a little, but it's Megan Rapinoe.
And I don't know the controversy behind that, so if you want to explain that. Oh, okay.
No, it's
well, then
okay.
you don't have to.
No, it's okay. Megan Rapinoe is a soccer player. She plays for the Seattle Soccer League,
Nice.
the American
Nice.
Soccer League. I don't know. It's not the MLS. That's the men's soccer league. I don't know what it's called actually, which is really bad of me.
Okay.
She also plays for the U.S. women's national team.
Yeah.
She's one of the best athletes I've ever witnessed.
Really?
She's incredible.
Wow.
She's absolutely incredible. That and the fact that she shares a lot of my lifestyle has made her kind of a little hero for me.
Gotcha.
She's always one of those people that I can look at and be like, wow, she's similar to me and can do those things.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Nice.
And she's under a little fire because there was that whole thing with, Kaepernick and stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
soon after that, she knelt for equality.
Yeah. Okay.
And we know how that goes with people. People agree, people don't agree. That's fine. I'm not saying either way is right. But she knelt for equality of the LGBT community.
Okay.
And also just women, because FIFA tends to pay the men
Yeah, I've heard about that.
infinitely more.
It's pretty bad.
And the women have had a better standing team for years on end.
Yeah.
And brought in more revenue. And so she did those things, and she's also very anti our current president. Won't get into it, but I know that a lot of people dislike her and actively hate her.
Wow.
So I know
that's intense.
Yeah. So I know it's a very controversial pick, but I like her for reasons that are personal to me and not so much her political views.
Exactly.
So
that's what matters.
Yeah.
My next athlete is Drew Brees.
Oh.
And just because I've never been like a huge football fan, I've never really been into sports just in general.
Yeah.
But I remember when the Saints won in 2008, and I remember watching him like kiss his like newborn son in like the New Orleans
Cute.
parade, and I was like, man, that's awesome. And I've just always thought he was so cool, like as a quarterback, another one who's like, he may not have been like the best in the league, but he did his best, you know what I mean? And he almost, I'm so ticked off about what happened this year. They should have made it. It's so upsetting to me, but he seems a really cool and good guy, and like he cares a lot about what he does. And I think this was his last year actually, which is sort of why I wanted them to go to the Super Bowl so bad.
Right.
Because I think he's gonna take like an announcing job now, which makes sense. I mean, he's not old, but I mean old
Getting
for
up there, athlete old.
Athlete old, exactly. Right. He also went to Purdue, which is one of my schools that I would like to go to. So
hear that, Purdue?
Yeah.
Send the money.
Exactly.
You need Carl's brain. It's kind of nice that in all that fame, you know, even in the parade when there's thousands of people there watching you, he kind of just like, this is my family. This is what's important.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so do I. That's sort of why I was like, and maybe it's like a false memory of me remembering that because I was 7 years old and that was 11 years ago.
It made an imprint, so it's
yeah,
gotta be
exactly.
something.
So maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Either way, 2 extra characters or 2 extra people.
All right, you're first on this one.
I'm gonna say. So I've always liked myths, and we talked about, and so Greek mythology I think is awesome, and one of my favorite demigods has always been Perseus.
Very cool.
Just because I feel like he's one of those, because I feel like demigods always have like a really shit downfall.
Yeah.
Like Orpheus when he turns back and doesn't get let out of hell, or Achilles when he dies, and I feel like Perseus is just sort of one of those ones that, you know, he's Zeus's kid, and he sort of lived a real shit life.
Everyone is Zeus's kid.
Yeah, exactly. And then he sort of becomes this hero and saves Andromeda and kills a sea beast and kills Medusa like a boss.
Badass.
And then just becomes king, and that's sort of it, you know, like Jason, who got the golden fleece, gets screwed over, and I feel like Perseus I admire a lot just because it's sort of like
an underdog story.
He won. You know what I mean? Like even if those other characters won too, he actually won, meaning he didn't get like brutally murdered or something at the end of his tale.
Right.
And he just sort of got to live happy after he did everything that he did. And it's killing Medusa, like that's awesome.
It's so cool.
So cool. And also ties back into Percy Jackson, like his name is Perseus, and that sort of also has led me to like the main character's name is Percy.
Yeah.
So Perseus of Greek mythology, and I think that's awesome. And also his weapon in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is so sick. So
what is it?
It's like a sword. It's called Perseus's harp. You get it when you kill Medusa.
Cool. I need to play those games. You keep talking them. Like,
I know. I don't know.
Much.
It's just because it keeps like coming up in my head. Like that's how I make references to things. Is that's where I learned a lot of information from history and just.
We don't have any original thoughts. All of our brain is just regurgitated information.
I remember saying that would be like
our
that we would get copyrighted constantly because everything that I had to say was just from
quotes.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just our brain is just made of quotes in video games.
Damn it. Give me one of your next one.
I think this one doesn't need much explaining, and it's kind of like a unanimous decision.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves.
Fair.
That's
it. You don't need to say anything else.
I don't have to explain. If you know, you know.
It's Keanu Reeves.
If you know, you know.
You're beautiful.
Yeah. He's just an incredible person. He's talented. He's amazing. He's the nicest human on the planet. He's gone through like a lot of Carl's people, absolute shit, horrible tragedy. Yeah. Over and over and over again, and he still has a heart of gold, and that's really admirable.
Yeah. My next one, and I've been racking my brain over this for some time. Actually, I didn't decide this until you just started talking. Mm-hmm. And after you pointed out that a lot of my people have redemption stories, I realized that this person definitely belongs on there. And I don't know if you ever finished this, but you're going to know who I'm talking about. Arthur Morgan.
Oh, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep, okay.
You didn't finish the game, did you?
No, I didn't.
He's a really good person. I know that sounds stupid for an outlaw who kills people. But
he's like a Robin Hood.
Yeah, but also he sacrifices a lot in the game, and he cares a lot about the people around him, and he definitely gets screwed over a lot, and it's a lot of redemption for him. That's a lot of what the whole video game is about, is him knowing, like, I have to make up for my sins of what I've done in the past, which is sort of where the game picks up, is him realizing, like,
Man.
I've gotta change my ways, and I've gotta do that for the people around me who I care about, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get that. And it's cool. It means a lot to me as just like a person to see like someone can come back from the brink like that, and like not Johnny Depp, like Robert Downey Jr., like someone who is a convict and like addicted to drugs and stuff like that. Well, for this guy, it's totally different. Someone who is an actual murderer to be able to come back and be like, yeah, and then do his best and change the people, like
good.
Change the world around him and want to be a good person.
Yeah.
So that's definitely why I picked him.
Isn't it crazy how such a very fictional animated character can have such an effect on your life?
Yeah.
It's
it is
truly incredible. And I know a lot of people knock video games, but there are so many
It's
positives
so good.
to it. There's so many positives to video games, and if you think that it's all negative and bad for your kids and your friends,
you're dumb.
You're uneducated.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. My last one is very near and dear to my heart. It's J.K. Rowling.
Yep.
I think I've mentioned her in like 3 episodes already.
Yeah.
But she created an entire world that is now 20 years old and still just as popular. And just as amazing. If you go to any store, any, Hot Topic bookstore, Barnes and Noble, literally any store is going to have Harry Potter merch because it has meant so much
to the fans and just to everybody, just the world fans, in general.
Yeah. I mean, they're making more. They're doing Fantastic Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
And she writes under a pen name. I don't know if you know that.
I think so, yeah.
But she writes detective stories.
That's cool.
Very good. She's generally a person that's fighting for the world to be better.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I think she's probably one of the most influential people ever.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds extreme. She's just a writer that made up a wizarding world. But she's truly... the extent of her reach is infinite.
Yeah.
So.
And I just realized that we're really shitty comic fans.
Stanley.
How do we not put that on here?
Stanley. Because if Stanley was at my party and then he disappeared, I would just cry for the rest of my life. Stanley is my number 1 pick for everything.
He'd be at the dinner party. Extra person, add Stan Lee to both our lists. I
mean,
that doesn't even need any introductions or any descriptions. Just like
Stanley
created a beautiful fandom that I'm in love with, and that has
he doesn't like
my life.
Besides the actual ones, he doesn't really match any of the descriptions.
That's true.
R.I.P. Stanley, I love you. Thank you for
this
everything.
episode was created for Stan Lee.
Yep.
Even though we just mentioned him in the last 2 minutes of the episode.
It's all for him.
Yeah, exactly.
My whole life is for Stanley. I dedicated.
So I hope you guys enjoy our lists. You could definitely message us on Facebook or Twitter if you want to plug the Twitter name there.
Yeah, it's at Rated E Pod, or you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. Spotify. Everything is under Rated E for everything.
And leave us some comments about our picks. Like, how do you guys feel about them? What do you guys think about the people who we chose to be at our dinner party? Do you want us to do a part 2 and go under different categories maybe, or pick different people? Would you like to hear more in depth about the people who we did pick? Maybe a whole episode on one of the categories or something like that. Whatever you guys want, we'll do it for you because we talk about everything.
Also, if anyone is an artist or has some free time or really good at Photoshop, I would like a portrait of each of our dinner parties.
We'll post the lists on the pages, and
if anyone can do that. If any of you guys
did some free time, definitely that would be fun.
That would be incredible. So thanks for listening. Subscribe or follow or whatever people do on these things. Thank you so much.
This is Rated E for everything.
Bye.